What's up guys, Mr. Octagonal here from Octagonal Gaming. Now we have sort of a different type of video today. We're going to be talking about the 7 best players, in my opinion, in the 2018 NBA draft. Back in like May or something, I made like a big board of like the top 10. So I kind of want to see like how different it is. I think that would be pretty cool. It's just this time I'm actually going to explain. Last time I didn't say a word, and also last time was pretty bad quality. So, yeah, let's Michael Porter Jr. of Missouri. Now, Michael Porter Jr. hasn't played too much. He's played a whopping, I would say, about 2 minutes or so. This season, he hurt his back the very first game. Will be out for the rest of the year, which is why I'm moving him to number 7. I do want him on this list, though, because he's really, really good. So, looking at his skills, he's a very solid scorer. He can shoot the ball. He can rebound the ball. He's 6'10". He's probably going to be a small forward or power forward. His rebound ability definitely has him at small forward, and he definitely has, or at power forward, and he definitely has a very good offensive game. He's pretty slim. He should definitely gain a little bit of weight, which I definitely think he can, especially if he will be a power forward. And I think if he's a small forward or power forward, he can improve on defense, which I certainly think he can. My original ranking for him was number 2. And as I said, why he's so low is simply because we got hurt and we have not gotten to see him against college competition over even 2 minutes of action, where he got a point and 2 rebounds, or 2 points and 2 rebounds, which in 2 minutes, that's not too shabby, but we can't really make a full-on judgment. So my original ranking was number 2. My original comparison is Paul George, which I like that comparison, and I think I'm going to stick with it, because both Paul George and him have both good offensive games. They can both shoot the ball. They're both pretty tall. Michael Porter Jr. is taller. He's better at rebounding. But I think if he can be like Paul George, he needs to develop a defensive game, which I definitely think he can do. Number 6, I have the Texas Longhorns, Mohamed Bamba, the big man. He is very big. He can play power forward or center. He's almost 7 feet tall. And he's a very, very, very good defensive player. He's averaging 10.5 rebounds, 0.8 steals, and 4.6 blocks. He's averaging literally about 5 blocks a game. So he's phenomenal on the defensive end of the court, on the low post end of the court. He almost has 1 steal a game as well, which is pretty good for a big man. Andre Drummond gets like a steal a game, but he only gets like 1 block a game. At the same time, obviously this is college and these guys are much smaller, so Bamba's not going to be getting 5 blocks a game in the NBA. But my original ranking for him was number 3, and my original comparison was Rudy Gobert, which once again, I think I want to stick with that comparison. I've seen a lot of that comparisons to Mohamed Bamba, and I see a lot of resemblance about them. Mohamed Bamba's actually shot in a little bit from the 3-point line, which I want to see from him, especially if he does become a power forward, which I think is his natural position over center. I think it would benefit him to get a jump shot, which seems like he's shooting a little bit of the 3 ball in Texas, which I like to see for him, because I want him to develop a jump shot. I want him I think he should develop an offensive game. He definitely has the defense. Like Rudy Gobert is probably the best inside defender in the NBA, but Rudy Gobert does not have a jump shot. He is a center though, and Bamba's a power forward. So I think if Bamba can develop a jump shot, then he can be an absolute beast. Number 5 is going to be the star point guard from the University of Oklahoma, Trae Young, as Oklahoma sports has done pretty well lately. I mean, they had Baker Mayfield in football, and now Trae Young. Trae Young, his draft stock has skyrocketed as he's been so dominant. You're probably sort of confused why I'm putting him this low. He is phenomenal, though. He's been so far this year in college basketball the best player. 29.2 points, 10.1 assists. He's been extremely efficient. 4 rebounds, 2 steals. I want to see him develop a defensive game, which he definitely has the offensive game. He's shooting lights out. He's playmaking really well as well. So I don't think offense is a concern. I mean, offense, like, he's been balling out. So defense, obviously, he needs more work on defense than offense. I'm not saying he's a bad defender, but he's so good on offense. He did not have a ranking. He may have been in like 10 through 30, because I made a 10 through 30 as well. He might have been in there, I'm not sure. But comparisons, you see a lot of Steph Curry's. Obviously his range, he's been the best shooter in college basketball since debatably Stephen Curry. I mean, Luke Kennard? No? Okay, yeah. I'm kind of kidding about that. But I feel like he's more of a James Harden. Now, obviously, he shoots like Steph Curry. James Harden's a great shooter. Not quite as good as Steph Curry, but he's definitely up there. But the reason why I'm saying James Harden is for playmaking. James Harden, I'm not sure if he leads the NBA in assists, but he's definitely like top 3. I know he's top 3 in points, and meanwhile, Trae Young leads college basketball in points and assists per game, I'm pretty sure. So I see a lot of that. Obviously, we all know James Harden's not a great defender. So Trae Young, hopefully he can develop a defense, and then he'll be better than James Harden. Number 4, we have the Alabama star point guard, Collin Sexton. Obviously, Alabama is known for getting extremely good football talent. But they have one of the best young freshmen in all of college basketball. I really want to have Collin Sexton higher. I don't know why. My gut is telling me he should be higher, but he's not. He's played so well this year. That 3-on-5 game against Minnesota with Collin Sexton in Alabama, they only had 3 players left. And while it was 3-on-5, the Alabama players actually did better. Minnesota still ended up winning the game. But Collin Sexton, I feel like, has had a really underrated season so far. He's averaging 19.5 points, 3.5 assists, 3.5 rebounds, and 1 steal. He has no blocks, but he's 6'3". Doesn't need to be getting too many blocks. He's shooting the ball pretty well, which I think he needs to. I think he can certainly be a shooting guard. He's obviously more of a point guard. I think he does need to work on his playmaking. He only has 3.5 assists a game, which is not a lot for a point guard. Obviously, Trae Young has like 10. That's like 3 times the amount. So I think if Collin Sexton can improve that, that can make him a better offensive player. I feel like he's a little more raw than Trae Young, but I feel like he has a little more upside as well. Also, by the way, my original ranking for Collin Sexton was at number 6, and I compared him to Chris Paul, which honestly I don't really like that comparison because he doesn't really seem like he has the playmaking that Chris Paul does. As I said, he only has 3.5 assists a game. Obviously, Chris Paul, very good passer. So, score first point guard in the NBA. Who would I say he reminds me of? I'd have to think about that. I guess I'm just going to go with any, score first point guard in the NBA. So I guess I'm going to go with kind of like a Damian Lillard. Obviously, Lillard has more assists. But I think Collin Sexton sort of reminds me of Damian Lillard a little bit. Not quite as, it's kind of harder to compare Collin Sexton as, Mohamed Bamba, because Mohamed Bamba's comparison was really easy for me with Rudy Gobert. That's, a perfect match made in heaven, pretty much. At number 3, we have the European sensation, Luka Doncic. We haven't really heard his name lately since, obviously, college basketball season. He doesn't really play in college. He's played in Europe. But Luka Doncic is an extremely special talent. A lot of people would have him at this number 1, but I'm going to put him at this number 3 because I don't really feel like I've seen enough of him. He's a phenomenal scorer. He's a very good shooter. But what I really like most about him is his playmaking. He's a really, really, really good playmaker. He is really good. My original ranking for him was number 4. My original comparison was Danilo Gallinari, which that is an extremely, extremely awful comparison because Danilo Gallinari isn't even the same position, and he's not an insane playmaker. He's just a spot-up shooter. He's not anything like Luka Doncic. So I must have been high when I was making that prediction. I think Luka Doncic is equally as good at point guard and as shooting guard. He's a natural point guard or shooting guard, but his playmaking just makes me believe that he is a real legit point guard. He's 6'8" as well. So 6'8" point guard. We've obviously seen some new tall point guards. Ben Simmons, Giannis Antetokounmpo. If you consider him a point guard, then there you go. So a good comparison for him now. That's a tough one. I'm gonna say, I have to look more at him. I really have no idea. I guess a playmaking point guard who can score. Steve Nash, maybe? Number 2 on the list is Duke's big man, Marvin Bagley III. He was originally supposed to be in the 2019 NBA draft class, but he reclassified into this one. He skipped his senior year of high school and now obviously is at Duke. But the 2019 draft class got their man with R.J. Barrett reclassifying as well, who's probably even better than Marvin Bagley. Marvin Bagley is a beast. So he is balling out. He's averaging 22.1 points a game with 11.8 rebounds, about a block a game, which I want to see that block go up. I've seen a lot of Kevin Garnett comparisons, which is what I'm going to do. I think, obviously, Kevin Garnett wasn't really in the era with the stretch fours. I think if Marvin Bagley can develop a jump shot, he's going to be deadly, since he's more of a power forward than a center. Kind of like Mohamed Bamba, but he doesn't quite have the defensive skill that Bamba does, but I feel like he's better on offense. 22 points a game, 63% from the field. But if he can develop a jump shot from 3, he would be nuts. I did not have him ranked because he didn't reclassify when I made that video. He would have probably been number 1, but I've moved him down to 2. Not that he's done bad, but because I really think this number 1 is going to be a superstar. Number 1, we have DeAndre Ayton from Arizona, the big man. I really, really like DeAndre Ayton. I've been high on him. He was number 1 on that video, and I compared him to DeMarcus Cousins, which I got a lot of backlash on that, but I really do think he's kind of like DeMarcus Cousins. They're both big men, and they both have good jumpers, which is why I really like him. He's done really well for Arizona, which had a really bad slump towards the beginning of the year. Now they're starting to heat up. He's averaging 20 points, 11.5 boards, 1.5 assists, 1.5 blocks. Similar with Bagley, I want that defense, the blocking, to go up. Sort of like Mohamed Bamba. I mean, 5 blocks a game is kind of ridiculous. Shout out to Mo Bamba. But what I really like about him is he has a jump shot. He's only 8 for 24 from 3 in college, but he does not need to shoot 6, 7 threes a game. He doesn't need to be Steph Curry. He doesn't need to be J.J. Redick. But why I like him so much is he's kind of like Marvin Bagley, and where neither of them are defensive studs, but like they're both pretty good on offense. They both score the ball very well. They're both pretty good in the low post. Marvin Bagley's averaging and DeAndre Ayton are literally averaging almost identical field goal percentages. I think Marvin Bagley's was like 62.6% and DeAndre Ayton's is like 63%. But I feel like Ayton has that potential with the jump shooting. I know he can shoot mid-range. I've seen him shoot threes. So I definitely think he has the capability to shoot threes. And if he can shoot threes, he's going to be so deadly. So hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe if you're not already. Why did I say without for whatever reason? I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.
Yo, hey, man!